Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome. Today we will be attempting to make a fluffy potato out of crochet. Now, I've never used fluffy yarn. This will be a first for me, so we'll see how this goes. I did order from Hobby Yarn. I have 5 of these. I don't know how much I will need. This has, I think, 87 yards in it. Oh, 71 yards. And it is like the standard fluffy yarn. I may have made a mistake, but I thought this would be so cute as a couch potato. So to get an idea, here's my little drawing. I typically do, especially when I'm making up the thing, I typically draw a little picture. Here's my little idea for him. I don't know if I'll do freckles or blush cheeks, but my goal is for it to be about 12 to 14 inches. It's going to be a fluffy, cuddly, cute couch potato. So this recommends a 7mm hook. I will be using a 6.5. I was going to use a 6, but I couldn't find mine. I have one. I don't know where it is. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Yeah, I don't think there's much else. I will say I think this would be a generally good one if you're still newer to crochet, if you're not using fluffy yarn, because we'll see how this goes with fluffy yarn. I do not have high hopes, but we shall see. So let's get started. You will also need one of these to mark your starting piece. Now, I've never used this yarn or anything, so this is definitely going to be a first for me. I'm also not good at the magic ring, so instead I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I connect it all together here, like so. And that is how I start my magic ring. I saw this somewhere and I was like, that is way easier, because I think even after like 6 months of crocheting, I just physically could not do the magic ring. I don't know why. And then from this, so we have 4 here, so that means our first chain will, our first stitch here, which we're gonna go into the center loop, which I found with my finger, and we're doing a single crochet. We are going to do 8 all together. It's kind of hard with the thing here, or maybe not, if I can get it situated here. I'll keep this in because, you know, let's see how actually difficult it is to use this fluffy yarn if you are considering using it. So we have 1, 2, I'm already losing my center thing here, 3, it almost looks like a chicken. This would make really good chicken with this yarn. 4, I'm already losing it. I'm already losing the battle, y'all. 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so there is our start. I am going to move this, and I'm going to apologize for the distracting table, because that's too loud. My son stuck a sticker on the table here. Okay, there we go. So we did 8, and now is the hard part with fluffy yarn, because we're going to remove this, but I do not want to forget where my first stitch was. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to go through the first stitch here, and I'm going to do that, and like any circle, we're going to go back into that stitch a second time. So we have 2 stitches into that, and then we're going to go into the next one here, if I can find it, and we're going to do a single stitch into this, and then we're going to go 2 into the next one, then a single stitch into the next one, then 2 into the next one, which I think gives you 12 stitches altogether. So I'm going to focus on this, I'm going to get the 12 stitches in, and then I'm going to come back. Here is what it looks like so far. So I have 12 stitches all the way around. I know some people, when they're using fluffy yarn, will literally use like 100 of these to signify each individual stitch. I will say, once you start moving, it does get a little bit easier, but it's definitely difficult. So you have 12 stitches around here. You went 2 into the first one, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. Now we're gonna go 2 into this first one, then 1, 1, then 2 into the next one, 1, 1. So let's see if I'm gonna fight it as much here. So I'm just gonna move this clip, but I'm gonna keep my finger here on the starting one. I'm gonna do 1 here, go ahead and clip so we don't lose our starting point for our rounds, and go right back into it. And once you put a stitch into them, it's a lot easier, except for this one, I guess. There we go. So we have 2 into our starting stitch, and then we're gonna go into the next one, put 1, starting to get tangled, don't do that. So we're gonna go into the next one, do 1, and then 1, and then 2 into the next one. If I can get into it, there we go. 1, 2, that time was a lot easier, and then 1, 1. So that is it so far, and I'm going to keep going all the way around. That was round 3. Now we're going to go in for round 4. So if you can't tell, there's definitely a pattern when you do the round shape. You're going to go 1, 2, then 1, 2, you're going to go 1, 2 into the first one, then 1 into 1, 1 into another, 1 into another, then 1, 2, all the way around. So the last one, I think you should end up with 16, and this one you should end up with 20, I believe. I'll have to double check. I am going to try for this particular one to, in the description, put all the correct numbers in, because yeah, I'm right now just trying to focus to make sure I don't miss any stitches with my first time using fluffy yarn. Here is it now. So mine's starting to form where you can kind of see the stitches, which is great because the first couple you couldn't really see them. So now I think I can do a little bit better of a job showing you guys. So we're going to do our first stitch here. Good. Oop, lost my stitch marker here. And I'm going to mark it, and then we're going to go back into the same stitch, do a second one, and then we're going to go, if I can get back oriented here. It's kind of hard when you do the 2 because your next one is always tight. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and now 4. And then we'll go 1, then 2. Now I will say this is getting a little easier to work with the fluffy yarn as I go on, but I'm sure I'm going to hit a wall here. I also want to say, if you're also using fluffy yarn and you're having a little hard time kind of keeping track, when you're doing these, it should always go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you should be back to here. If you end up, while you're going around, end up off, then you probably either put like too many stitches in somewhere or not enough, or if you're like 1, 2, 3, 4 back here, you probably doubled up somewhere. So that's right now kind of what's keeping me I think in line is knowing that little tidbit. The other thing that I'm gonna struggle with here is making sure I don't start curving my crochet in, making it nice and flat here, because it's hard to see where my yarn is specifically, because as you can see it's really easy to start curving it, and I don't really want to do that quite yet. So I want to make sure I start getting it flat again, trying to go into the outside part of the V, but when you can't really see it, it's a little hard. Another round down, so I am going to either go until my first skein is done, in case you also wanted to use a specific yarn so you can see where I'm at, or until I'm like about to this size, which is about how wide I want my base of my potato to be. So if you can't already guess, the next one will be 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way around. Like I said, hopefully I'll remember to do an actual, like at least for the base, in the description. But yes, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a few more rounds so we don't have to sit here and watch every single round. It's just gonna go up by 1 extra single stitch before you put the double stitch into it, until it's about, I think about this big is how big I want the base of my potato. Now if you're just going off of this and making a fluffy potato, you can make it bigger, smaller. That's what we love about crochet, is you can do whatever size you want. So let's see how far we go with the first skein of yarn, and if we can use all of it before or after we get through our base. This is actually almost too tall for me, or like too big for me to film from my angle, so I'm gonna have to lift up my angle here. I still have this much yarn left, and this is my base I'm gonna use. So I think it's 11 rows here, which means I did like 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 2, and that might be 10 rows. I didn't count, to be honest, because I was very busy trying to count each and making sure I got into each loop and each stitch. But yeah, I'm loving how this looks, because it literally looks like a stuffed animal. It doesn't even look crochet, which is so cool. Obviously I love the look of crochet. I am a crocheter, but I just think that's so neat how you can do that. Anyways, you're still going to want to use your stitch marker here, but let me put this up where it's not going to fall here. Move this stuff out of the way. So you're still going to need your stitch marker, but now we're done with our base and we're going to start going up. So let's remove the stitch marker. And you cannot get easier than this. Okay, this one's right there, this one's right here. So this is our first stitch, and we're literally just gonna go all the way around with a single crochet, as if you were doing any other crochet project. Hopefully the hardest part with this, what threw me off, was making sure I get into the right stitch here. There we go. So get that in there, and then we're just literally going to put 1 stitch in every stitch as we go around and start moving up. And I'm actually surprised how little yarn this has used, because I still have close to half of my yarn left here. And yeah, I bought 5 of these off of Hobby Yarn, and I think I may only need potentially 1.5 with how this is going, which is great. So we're just gonna go 1 stitch all the way around for a few rounds. I will check back in after we do that. This is what it looks like after 2 rounds. Not very tall. Here, let me see. Can't really see from this angle. But we're gonna keep going, so that's 2 rounds of just straight single stitch into every stitch. Alright, so I've done 7 rounds after not expanding anymore, so 5 more since my last clip here. This is what it looks like so far, to kind of get an idea of how tall it is. It's probably about like 2.5 inches, and this is still my first skein of yarn. I'm very pleased with how far this has gone. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Let's kind of go at this angle here. It's about how tall it is. We're really moving on this, so I think I could probably get about halfway around one more time. And then need to add my next skein. But there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going and adding more yarn. And I'm gonna count how many rounds I do. And like I said, I am like writing everything down and putting it on like a little notepad so I can put it in the description down below. But the next clip we will be we'll be discussing making the face. You don't have to make a face on your potato, but my couch potato is getting a face. So that's when we'll check back in. Here is my potato after 2 skeins of yarn. I only have a little bit left, and I basically made it through 22 rounds of just straight like crocheting, no expanding or getting bigger, just 22 rounds past the initial kind of like expanding and rounding, if that makes sense. But yes, I'm going to add the 3rd one in here soon, after probably maybe like 4 or 5 more rounds. But when I come back, I'll let you know. I'm going to add the face and stuff because we are getting close to the top. So from the point that we're kind of making this tube shape, we have 26 rows. You cannot tell. It's kind of cool. I can't get over how cool this looks. This is also my first time really seeing like a crocheted fluffy piece. I'm just kind of in awe of it all. Even this side is just so cool looking. Anyways, so we are going to start reducing to kind of do what we did down here, get a little potato shape. And basically, I'm gonna get some yarn. We're gonna do the opposite of what we did before. So we're gonna go into 1 loop and have 2 loops on there. Then we're gonna go into the next stitch, have 3 loops, and pull through for 1. So basically, instead of putting 2 stitches in 1 stitch, you're gonna put a single stitch in 2 stitches, if that makes sense. Then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, if I can get in there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because that's what I ended on when I was expanding my crochet, and now we're reducing it. I don't know if those are the proper terms at all, but those are the ones I'm going to be using. And then once again, just to show you guys, I know it's really hard with the fluffy yarn, I'm going to go into my bottom stitch here, pull through, then go into the next stitch, pull through, have 3 loops on, and do that, and go back around 11. And then do it again all the way around. I also realized in the last clip before the one I just finished, I said I was going to do the face next, but I feel like I haven't visualized where I want to put his face yet. So I'm going to keep shaping it a little more because I feel like I'm going to put the face right here potentially. But I have to shape mine a little more so I can know exactly where I want to put the face. Especially since this is like something I'm just like going with and making up as I go. I need to really visualize where I want to put his face at. So I finished that last one, and now we're gonna kind of continue the pattern, and I'm going to do the same thing of 1, 2, then in the first stitch, then we're going to move to the second stitch, pull through again, creating a single stitch rather than 2 individual. And then this time we're going to do 10. So we're going to go 1, gotta free up my yarn here. Then we'll go 2, make sure I'm still on camera, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're gonna go into 1 stitch, pull through, go into the next stitch, pull through, creating a single stitch, then go all the way around again, 1, 2, and so on. I've gone all the way around doing the 10, and I just wanted to take a second to try and show you how you can see a little bit that I'm in 2 separate stitches. So like there's 1, there's 2, 1, 2, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then do the 2 stitches in 1, go all the way around with 9 this time. And then I'm gonna look at it and see if I'm ready to put the face on or not. I went all the way around again. We're back at, my little clip is hiding, our first stitch there. This time I'm gonna do 2 and 1 and then go across 8, then do 2 and 1, go across 8. It hasn't quite narrowed enough for me to feel like I want to add the face. I have not envisioned it yet, so we're gonna keep going. It will come soon. If you're just making a fluffy potato, you don't have to worry about that part, but I will be putting a face on this soon, I'm sure of it. I just finished my round or row, whichever one you prefer, of 8 technically. So you go 1, 2 into 1 stitch and then all the way across single stitches 8 times. You can start to see it's slowly starting to round off. So we're making some progress. The next one, of course, will be 2 into 1 stitch and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single stitches, then right back to the 2 pulled into a single stitch going around. So yeah, that's our next step with our fluffy potato. I finished the next round, so now we're gonna do 1, 2, so 1 stitch into 2 stitches, or I don't know what the previous ones are called. Anyways, and then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then do it all over again. I'm finally ready to add our potatoes face here. So let me move things around. I just bought these. It's been a long time since I've used safety eyes because I bought way too small of safety eyes before. So this time I bought a big thing of them. I think I'm gonna go with the biggest size for a potato friend, yeah. So I think I'm gonna put them like right here maybe. I'm gonna spread them out a little bit more. All right, so I'm gonna use safety eyes. 1, you don't have to put a face on your potato at all if you don't want to, or you can embroider the eyes, you can do the felt eyes, you can do safety eyes like I'm doing, whatever you please. But I am going to use, these are the largest size, so they're 20mm eyes, which that sucks they only gave 3 pieces. Who needs 3? Oh wait, there's 6 altogether. There's 2 separate ones. And then we're gonna use the little things here to secure them in. Now I have had issues with safety eyes in the past where they have come out, but these definitely should hopefully not come out of here. So we have our eyes set and hopefully they're even there. And next I have just some acrylic brown yarn. You can use whatever color you want. I'm just gonna use brown because I think it will kind of blend a little nicer and look a little more natural. I actually need scissors so I can go ahead and cut. I cut off a good sized string and I'm just gonna make a really simple mouth. It's not gonna be very easy to see because my yarn is a little bit thin. Probably would have been better if I had like another bulky yarn, but I do not, so I'm just gonna kind of go not very far past his, down below his eyes here. Make sure I have a tail. I know this is at a weird angle. There we go. Make sure I have a tail. And then I'm just gonna kind of try and go as straight across as I can. And that's gonna be his face. I'm gonna go through a second time, go straight back in through the same hole here. There we go. And go straight back out through the same hole. And then you don't want to put, oops, there we go. So you can kind of see his mouth. He's not very pleased. I was initially going to do like freckles or blush, but I think the yarn I have that I could do it with, it would just be you wouldn't be able to see it very well. So we'll just stick with the mouth, and he looks very cute. Now we get to stare at his face while we crochet. But this time, to start ending our thing, we are very close to the end here. I have not stuffed mine yet because I typically wait until I just have a small enough hole to fill it. We're back around here, so we're gonna do the 1 stitch into the 2 previous round stitches. And then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the last time was 6. Go all the way around, just like that. A brief intermission to pet the kitty cat, because he has joined me. My couch potato is asking me to please hurry up and finish him. But we finished this round, so if you could guess, we're gonna put 2 stitches, or 1 stitch into 2, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, repeat it, and then if you could imagine, then we're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and then we'll see where we're at. But I might check in before that because I gotta stuff him here soon because he is more of a pancake right now. I've gone around 2 more rounds, so I'm now to the 1 stitch into 2 and then 1, 2, 1 stitch into 2. And I also added little, like where he's a little chubby, you know, like where he's got little dimples or whatever. So I'm gonna do this one last round and then, because my hand will still fit in there, and then I will stuff him very full because I think he needs to have a lot of stuffing in him to be nice and plump. Our potato is ready to be stuffed. I do have like maybe 8 ounces of beans I'm gonna put in a pouch and then put him in him, and then we're gonna stuff him full. I stuffed him, he is overflowing, so I can fill in the top here and then kind of mush him around and he'll be nice and full. His mouth is a little hard to see, but it is there. He looks a little angry. Let's fix that. There we go. So yeah, there he is right now. I added beans to the bottom to hopefully help him stand up, sit up a little bit. So let's go close his head. I am now to the point on here where I am doing a single stitch per 2. So you go like one, then the next one, then your single stitch. And once I've fully gone around with that, I am going to show you the last step to seal up your potato. So you can see we just have a little hole here that we are going to stitch shut. It's going to be very hard for me to like show, but if you've never done this before, you just kind of, let's see, can we see our like stitches here? You just weave through the stitches all the way around and then you pull tight. This is not going to be easy to see, so I'm not going to take the time to really show it because I doubt you'll even be able to see what I'm doing. But you just weave through each stitch all the way back and forth, all the way around, kind of like you're sewing, and then we'll pull his head shut. And he is done. His head is closed up. Here's his little face, because he's fluffy, you can't really see his face. But here's our couch potato. This is how much yarn I have left from my 3rd skein. So I used basically 3 skeins of yarn to make him. He is about, let's find, he is 13 inches tall, so he's a really great like cuddly pillow. This is him all the way around. He's very chunky, very stuffed. And yeah, that is how to make a couch potato. If you liked this video, please let me know down below. Like it, subscribe, and if you make the couch potato, go down to my Instagram down below and either send me a picture or tag me in a photo if you post it. Bye!